Hello, this is John Williams. We're going to be discussing the adoption of personalized learning for our middle school for this next year. This will be a gradual process. We're going to take it through part of the year as it goes through and learn to grow with it as we do so we can implement it nice and smoothly over the course of our period here. So let's look at the overall phase one. Phase one is going to start off with our planning and rollout. That's going to start the end of this next year. And that's where a lot of us in the admin are going to be looking down and figuring things out and making general plans for the future. So we'll set that in, and then we're going to do some active integration into that afterwards, following through with that process. That's where we're going to actually engage with the students and the teachers, having them actually convert their classes, at least in part, into our next phase. Following that at the end of next year in our phase two process, basically cycling up at the end of May again of this next year, we'll be looking at doing some research and evaluation as to how we did, how things went, and then we'll review some of our general technology information, some of our developments that we made over the course of the year, what worked, what didn't, what do we might need for the future, and then we'll start plugging right back into the next year because the goal for this again is to grow. So it has a bit of a cyclic nature, at least to start off with, as we're going to rev up things year after year to see how well they go. So let's look at our first thing. We're going to break this down a little bit closer so that everybody can get into the process. So starting off things with our first sections, and that's going to be our planning and setup phase. So during phase one, we're going to start off with our planning and setup. It's going to take place with admin only. There may be a few teachers, select teachers, that we involved with this, but for the most part, it's going to be just our developing of what what developments we need, what trainings do we need, who do we need to bring in, what workshops are we going to offer, things like that. Again, what support or mentorships do we need to be involved with, as well as what other collaborations or educational institutions do we need to bring in. Possibly we need to look at the local college as a possibility. We might need to look at some of the other groups in the area as a possibility as to how to help us grow in this process. A lot of it also depends on the next section, technology we're going to be using. There are lots of various technology programs, and some of those are inbound with each other, and some of those are exbound, so they don't necessarily have to be brought in all together and have their own curriculum set. So there'll be a growth to see how that goes. We're going to integrate that and figure that out as a team as to what we like best and what is going to work best with our system, our students, and our budgetary restraints. All right. Into our teacher development and involvement. This is where we're really going to bring our teachers on inside. And then the first thing here is going to be working with our teachers on curriculum development. Because once we've settled out what system we're going to go with, we want them to evaluate the curriculum. And we want them to adapt it to its own aspects too. Because it's not going to be just, plug and play. We want to make sure that our teachers, one, feel comfortable with it, and two, they feel as though it's properly engaging for our students. So that's going to be one of the major things because they're going to be the hands-on for this, especially this stage of it. So as we move through, we are vastly increasing our affiliation with our teachers in this point. We do need to do a little bit of prepping for our other aspects like data. Privacy, we've got to make sure that our networks are running properly, make sure that our programs are being run safely, securely, as we don't want the students' records or grades all over the place. We want to make sure that they're included in just what we want. We want the parents to be able to have access. We want the teacher to have access, and that's about it. So that nobody else has all that stuff. On the other side, we also want to make sure that we don't have people coming in from outside influence coming into our school as well. So the safety aspects of that as well. Make sure we're properly using all the facilities that we have. Next, we're starting things out. And now we're going to move into the beginning of school and we're going to engage in families. And this is going to be a full announcement into what the families are going to be doing and what we're going to be doing this year. So we're going to talk to them during that initial phase right? And we're going to start releasing newsletters. We're going to start giving them updates on exactly how those things are going. Part of it, again, is to help include them in that almost daily process of implementation for our classrooms. Ideally, parents will know literally on the same day how their student did in class. Did their student do well in class? What developments have they done? Did they have special time with the teacher? Did they have a development process? What stage are they at? Are they sitting at a advanced stage, or are they sitting at a understage at this point in their development on any given topic? So as we're going through that, that's where a lot of this is going to come. So we'll be announcing to the families exactly how that process works, what sections showcase each student's abilities and what they have, right? And then the Grand Enchilada, we're going to start the program. This is going to start out right out there at the beginning of next school year, right at the very beginning. Now there will obviously be some process time that takes place between that, and that initial concept. But we do want to get it off right off the bat, at least using the things properly, so that just as we just dealt with the parents, they can come alongside us and enjoy that process with us. So we'll be evaluating and continuously improving our process. This can be done for the teachers and admin side. So in doing so, uh, we're going to be growing it, and we will get some feedback from parents as we go along too. We may not be able to initialize all of those things, but at least on the admin and teacher side, we should be able to get everything we need to dealt with, because at least we understand the back of the house concepts, and then we can look into incorporating as much of what parents want into that as possible, or at least finding if those are even viable options for us as well. So we'll continue to collect and analyze data of our students' performances, and we'll begin to again evaluate and refine our processes, right, for this in the future. Another in which we will be involved with some more is making sure that we are bringing in an equitable process for everybody, so that all of our students are getting the benefits out of this program. If this is only helping certain students, it's not really doing what we're asking. We're looking to try and personalize this so that every student has those benefits. So we're going to do another round of checking to make sure that every student has access at home, every student has access at school, every student has a viable time frame to be able to get to this work. This may include the adjustment of a couple hours for students. We might need to bring in the concept of after-school lab options or lab hours for students, for computers and things, if they need some extra time on it. Or if they just need some extra time with the computers, we might have extra tutor sessions, or just general help sessions is very possible. And a lot of that we're going to look and see what we're going on. So we'll probably communicate both with families and looking internally at that data. Are we getting what we need out of this? And is it going across the board? Is everybody getting what they need out of it? And then look to see who isn't and what we can do to solve that problem. Next, we're going to grow ourselves out of the classroom. Because now that we've been focusing on in the classroom and making sure everybody got what we needed in the classroom, now we're going to get out of the classroom. Get involved with our community partnerships. So we need to go ahead and we'll be looking at libraries and museums, things like that, that we can communicate with and make it as part of our curriculum, whether it be regular visits, whether it be engagement. One of the simple, easiest things is to make sure that every one of our students has a library card. That's a good one. And they all get to visit the library. They start to check out books. All right, that's one of the biggest motivators in reading, is having a library card and access to those books. And we might even be able to, we do have a small library on campus, but we might be able to see if we can get a hold of the mobile library to see if they could drive by on every other given week to give us a visit, or maybe even just one or two classrooms that get a chance to go visit the mobile library, depending on how things go. That's something to look into, with our partnerships, as was mentioned, as well as museums, what other activities and things are able in the area. Another big one here is engaging with our parents. There's a lot of our parents know about the history of our community. and all the different things in our areas. What else is available in our areas, and what things they could do, even within their own businesses that aren't necessarily the official process. What kind of activities could be involved with. So that's good. And now we're moving on to strokes, bigger and broader strokes. As we're finishing out the year, which is where we're coming to with this, we've now come to the end of next year. To look back into a deep set. We're going to do some research. We're going to find out exactly what our data said versus what other schools that have done the same thing or similar have done, and we're going to evaluate. We're going to look and see what universities in the area are also looking at. What have they found in this process? We may possibly even get together and partner with a university in the area to see if they want to look at our data and run studies for it, and see what some of their students say and some of their faculty are involved with. All those are possibilities we're going to be looking into come near the end of our first active year. Right, and then again, that's that May of next year, the full cycle out. So that'll be what's going on with that. And then what we're really looking at is some policy and advocacy for leadership. If this goes strong and we like what's going on, which we believe we will, then we're going to start moving into the community more, and we'll start advertising more on what's going on, as well as starting to look at what can we do for other people, what can we do for other policies, can we start moving this into our education system on a more grand scale. Because if we can prove concept that just by adjusting 2 classes or 2 grades, we can start looking at moving into another grade or moving into the next set of grades. Eventually, our aim is to possibly look at our entire system, top down, as being a personalized learning system. The question becomes again whether or not, based off of our scaling, what kind of possibilities that would bring. So we'll be looking at that, looking at other campaigns and coalitions, bringing in some of the different people that have really done well this last year. We can look at that and all the different things we want to do. But one thing we want to definitely make sure is bring it back down to our families. That's why we're doing this in the end anyways. So we want to finish out reminding ourselves about our parental involvement. We're going to increase that, which again is part of our program with this. Making parents advocates for both our school and the process for this. The teachers getting a chance to team together with family and with ourselves so we can communicate properly amongst different groups. And then community engagement, again, mentioning it just because that way we can, start putting our families where they are. It's not just school, it's also the rest of the community is where they exist. So that finishes results for the year. All right, and that's how things go in. We'll be looking at references here for all of our materials and things as we did. Um, we had everything all set up as we go. It's a long standing, and if you want to look at the primary document by which it's based off of, there are some folks that will associate a email out so that if anybody needs that, we can get that to them. Again, this is John Williams, personalized learning implementation in our school for this next year. Have a good day. Bye.